Before watching this video, subscribe to Women's Web and hit the bell icon.
Marriages are made in heaven, but divorces unfortunately are a long-drawn, complicated process. It's a roller coaster of emotions with complicated laws and life-changing decisions that you need to take. Most women, after years of marriage, at the time of divorce, complain that they have no assets to call their own, no finances in the bank to fund their life, and left with nothing to really call their own. We know that there are a lot of women who are independent and working and have their savings these days, but there is also a huge percentage of women who sometimes are not allowed to work after they get married, some who gladly leave their jobs when they have children, and some who just like being housewives. What financial rights do they have? How can they start a new life? How can they take care of their children? These are some of the things we're going to discuss in today's video. Hi everyone, I'm Tanya Appachu and I'm a lawyer. In India, marriages and divorces are governed by religious interpersonal laws. So that means which law is applicable to your divorce would depend on which religion you're from and under which religious ceremonies you chose to get married. So for example, a Hindu is governed by the Hindu Marriage Act of 1956. A Muslim is governed by Muslim interpersonal laws and also the Dissolution of Muslim Marriage Act of 1939. And Christians are governed by the Indian Divorce Act of 1969. To people belonging to different religions and chose to get married under the Special Marriage Act, then your divorce is also governed by the Special Marriage Act. So today we will not discuss about religion-specific rights that you have, but general rights that is available to every woman irrespective of religion. So since we have different laws under different religions, there was a need for a secular law to be introduced which helped provide maintenance for women, children and parents. So section 125 CRPC talks about interim maintenance. So if any person neglects to take care of his wife or his child or his parents, then he has to pay maintenance to maintain them under section 125 CRPC. So how is this helpful at the time of a divorce? So in the case you are a wife who has absolutely no means to take care of herself, then you can file an application under 125 CRPC in the court and ask your husband to provide you maintenance while your divorce proceedings is on. So divorce proceedings are usually long drawn, they take about 3 to 4 years, and meanwhile if you have nothing to fund yourself, you have the option of filing for interim maintenance. Now you must note that interim maintenance is available to you only if you can show to the court that you have no means of sustenance, no means of surviving. So this is usually given for very destitute women or women who are literally just thrown out of their house with no belongings of their own. But also a lot of women can claim it in case they have no earnings and no way to sustain themselves while the divorce proceedings are on. And this also sometimes helps you pay your legal fees and maintain yourself over that long period of the legal battle. Now, interim maintenance is usually given at the beginning of the stage of divorce, whereas alimony is given at the end of a divorce. So alimony can be a one-time payment or it can be a monthly maintenance that is provided by a husband to a wife in case she has no means to support herself or earn for herself after the divorce. Now, how much alimony a wife will get would depend on many factors, such as how much the husband earns, how much the wife earns, is she educated, can she earn for herself, was she working before marriage. A lot of factors decide alimony. Alimony is usually maxed at around 25% of a husband's earnings per month if it is a monthly maintenance. Now, child support is a kind of a right that you have to maintain your children. Generally, both the husband and the wife have to maintain the child or maintain the children. But if the wife has no means to earn, then the husband has to take care of all the maintenance of the children. This child support could include tuitions, school fees, any uniform, books, extracurricular activities, holidays, birthdays, expenses, anything that the child has to undergo. and this can also keep changing if it is monthly, depending upon the growth of the child, the education of the child. The older they get, they might be more expenses. All that has to be taken into account while providing child support. Share of jointly owned properties or co-joint properties. Now it is important to note that in India, women have no right over their husband's assets or property at the time of divorce. The only right that they have is to get alimony. However, if you have jointly bought any property, if you have invested in something together, or both of you are co-owners of some property, then you will get back the share that you have put in. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to press the bell button and subscribe to the channel. Another important right that all of us women have is our stridhan. Now, stridhan is any gift, any jewelry, any cash, any property, any assets that has been given to the bride at the time of marriage, or at the time of any functions or any special occasions like childbirth, any anniversaries, birthdays, given by her parents, given by her in-laws, given by her husband himself. These are all a woman's stridhan, and as per the law, she only has right over the stridhan. Stridhan is not to be confused with dowry. Stridhan is given voluntarily by the family, whereas dowry is usually on demand. In case your husband or your in-laws are not giving you back your stridhan, you can file a police complaint under section 406 of the Indian Penal Code for criminal breach of trust, and the police will help you get your stridhan back. What is absolutely important to remember is that these rights that we discussed that you have are not absolute rights. They are not a blanket provision given to women, and they will depend upon various circumstances and from case to case. So it will depend upon the cost of living, your husband's earnings, how many people he needs to take care of, how much responsibility he has. In case he has aged parents, he has a sister's education, he has a brother's education, all that will be taken into consideration. Also, if a woman is capable of earning, she might get a lesser alimony. If a woman is educated enough to go find a job, she might get something lesser than what somebody else would get who is not capable of finding herself a job or finding herself some means to earn. So also how many children you have, what kind of education they require. So everything depends on various circumstances, and it cannot be taken as an absolute right. Maintenance of alimony granted is usually not unreasonable or unrealistic, and it always takes into consideration that it should not become unbearable for the man, and it should also help maintain his living expenses. So all these factors are considered while the court decides on the alimony, maintenance or child support a woman can get. So how do you get these rights? How do you avail these rights? Like we discussed, if it is the stridhan which is in concern, you can go to a police station and file a police complaint to get back your stridhan. However, for alimony and child support, you need to file a petition in the family court in your jurisdiction. Please do reach out to a lawyer who will help you send a notice to your husband to inform him of the same and help you make a petition in the court. Divorce is not easy at all. The whole process is long drawn. It requires you to be tough, it requires you to be resilient, and it requires you to be strong and patient. So knowing your rights and knowing what is available to you under the law makes this whole process just a tad bit easier for you. So all the best to everyone. Hope this information helps you make better decisions when it comes to your divorce.